Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special video for you guys. I am going to be using Galarian Moltres in the Open Ultra League. I have to be honest with you guys, as cool as this bird looks, it wasn't great. Maybe it was a skill issue, maybe I didn't know how to build teams around it. I don't know, I'll let you guys see what happened. This is awkward. My whole team is weak to this. I hate dropping because then I'm just gatekeeping experts. You've got, okay, you know what? We're changing something after this.
Oh wow. Oh wow. This is not what dreams are made of.
Yeah, the Moltres doesn't really win CMP against a lot of things. That's unfortunate. We got only one win. Ay. Okay. Maybe he thinks he has.
How dare players at Legend Elo be smart? The audacity.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, if you want, you can change the team.
No, I don't know about the Moltres. Just in general, it hasn't been being too kind to me.
Good lead, beautiful lead.
What do I swap?
What other moves does the Moltres get out of curiosity?
Brave Bird?
Oh. I mean, we haven't really used Ancient Power that much. Oh my god, Blizzard right off the bat, wow.
Okay, to be fair, that last one was my fault. But I found it really difficult to build a team around Moltres. Like, whatever I would put with it, I felt like the team was unbalanced. So, for example, when I put Registeel with it, because Registeel would work really well with Moltres, it would take care of the fairy types and ice types and rock types. It would be weak to Alolan Sandslash, and then if I put Virizion with it, I was ABA weak to Charmers. If I put, I don't know, Dragonite with it, or then I was really weak to a lot of things. But yeah, I was really struggling building a team around this thing. I did use my Master Ball on it. Do I think it was worth it? Maybe one day there'll be a Ultra League Cup that I can use it in, that it will dominate in. Who knows? We'll see. But if you are looking to climb to Legend, I would not recommend Galarian Moltres. I would recommend getting to Legend first and then trying out this spice just for fun. But I might be wrong. You guys might be able to find a team that works really well with it that I couldn't find. But anyways, the team that I did end up using to go positive in a set, one set by the way, only one set, we won, is Virizion lead Galarian Moltres on the safe swap and Charizard in the back. I used a similar team to this with Gliscor instead of Moltres at one point, and that's where I got the idea from. So the team worked out okay, but it is ABA weak to Tentacruel, unfortunately. As you saw in the video, I didn't know what to do against it. I swapped in Moltres and then I didn't shield the Blizzard. Oh well. But anyways, Moltres should be able to draw out Tapu Fini, and that's why I have it on the safe swap. And actually, Moltres will do pretty decently against Tapu Fini because it has Ancient Power that will hit for neutral. And then Charizard should be able to sweep in the back. At least that's what I thought. That's the idea behind the team. And you have Virizion in the front to counter the Steel types and the Ice types and Rock types. But that's enough rambling from me. You guys came here to see some battles, so let's get into the battles. Up first, we have an amazing lead of Sandslash into our Virizion. My opponent is going to swap Golisopod, and guess what? Moltres is actually very good against Golisopod. We're going to have Ancient Power that hits for super effective, and our fast move, which is Wing Attack, is also going to be doing super effective to this Golisopod. Now, I think I did get a defense drop on the first liquidation, which is why it's always better to shield the second one, not the first one, in case the second one is going to be doing more damage because of the defense drop. But Moltres is actually decently bulky. It has decent bulk. It's not, tanky. It's not super squishy, but we're able to tank the second liquidation pretty well, and we take out the Golisopod. Then my opponent brings back in Alolan Sandslash, and we're almost able to take it out with one payback and one Ancient Power. We get taken out with the Ice Punch, and then my opponent brings in Dragonite. So now I'm just going to have to get the Dragonite's shields out of the way, going for these Dragon Claws because they still have 2 shields up and that's scary for us. I'm going to go ahead and shield the Dragon Claw, and I am counting on Virizion to take it out with resisted moves, unfortunately, but because Virizion has decent bulk, I should be able to live whatever the Dragonite is going to throw at me, and the Sacred Swords, I think I only need 2 to take it out, so I just have to watch out for a potential catch here. My opponent is going to go for a Dragon Claw. Thankfully, they don't have Hurricane. I wait a turn here, just in case my opponent decides to swap out and catch. I go for that Sacred Sword, and it takes him out, and then my opponent surrenders. GG's to him. Also, that was a very talented Italian streamer, a mind joke, so big shout out to him. But moving on to the next match, we are going to see a Deoxys into our Virizion. This isn't that great. I'm going to immediately swap into Charizard, and if my opponent goes for a Thunderbolt, I would shield, but my opponent went for a Psycho Boost, and I have a feeling they're going to bring in something that is going to counter Charizard anyway, and they do. We draw out a Greninja. Unfortunately, I'm just going to go for these Dragon Claws, although I think a Blast Burn might have been better, but I was able to reach 2. And now my opponent is going to take me out with Night Slash. They went ahead and baited with the first one. I wasn't going to shield anyways. I just let myself go here. And Virizion can actually win against Deoxys with shields. That's why I didn't shield anything on the Charizard. So now my opponent is going to bring back in their Deoxys. And we are going to go for these Leaf Blades, which are actually going to hurt. I have played this match so many times against Virizion with my own Deoxys, and I know that this matchup actually isn't that great for Deoxys because Deoxys doesn't want to debuff themselves, and Thunderbolt is going to be resisted. I did go ahead and shield the first one in case it was a Psycho Boost, but it wasn't. Unfortunately, we get baited with Thunderbolt, but that's okay. I am going to go ahead and double shield Virizion because I have a feeling my opponent has something else in the back that is going to be weak to fighting. So I'm going to bank all that energy. I attempt to catch a Psycho Boost on Galarian Moltres. Doesn't work out, unfortunately. And now we are going to have Galarian Moltres against Greedent. My opponent had a Greedent in the back. I was right that he was double weak to fighting in the back. But we go for the Ancient Power and we get the boost. That is amazing. That's exactly what we need here. And now we are going to be able to tank these Body Slams. And I go for another Ancient Power, and I get another boost. Now these Body Slams are not going to be doing enough to take us out. Now all I have to do is, my opponent has 1 shield left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to farm up to a payback, and then I'm going to swap out, take his final shield with the Sacred Sword, force him to throw all his energy on Deoxys onto my Virizion, and then I can farm him down with Moltres and take out the Greedent with this payback. And GG's to my opponent. Well played, but we finally got Galarian Moltres to shine in one of the matches. Moving on to the next match, I don't have any solid answer for poison types on my team. Also, remember when I said Galarian Moltres was supposed to be our safe swap? Yeah, I didn't really follow that rule a lot. I go ahead and swap in Charizard into the Nidoqueen, and my opponent brings out another Greninja. I'm going to go ahead and no-shield whatever this Greninja is going to throw at my Charizard. I want to get as much farm as possible on my Virizion. That way I have so much energy for the Nidoqueen, and Greninja can't really throw anything against us that is going to be super effective unless they're running Aerial Ace, but I doubt they are. I'm going to go ahead and go for these Leaf Blades on this Nidoqueen. I have a ton of energy stored up because I farmed down that Greninja. I'm going to try to weaken this Nidoqueen as much as I can, and then I'm going to shield a Poison Fang, and let me explain why. Because I thought maybe I could store a move on Virizion first of all, and also I wanted an option to swap out and clear the debuff on Moltres. So we do have to take 1 Poison Fang, unfortunately, and we get debuffed, and I am going to be able to reach that Ancient Power before my opponent can reach a move. Actually, it was a CMP tie, and we won that, but my opponent has Golisopod in the back, and now all I have to do is go for these Ancient Powers. We both have 1 shield up. I'm going to go ahead and shield the first move that my opponent throws at us. It is an Aerial Ace, but I am going to be able to reach another Ancient Power, take my opponent's final shield, and because we swapped out a Virizion with energy, I'm going to be able to throw this Leaf Blade and KO my opponent immediately. And GG's to my opponent, we take another win. But moving on to the next match, we are going to be seeing another amazing lead, a Walrein lead into our Virizion. Actually, this is not that great for either of us. We're both going to be doing super effective to each other. I'm going to be going for these Leaf Blades, which are going to be doing a little more damage than Sacred Sword, and my opponent is going to go ahead for these Icicle Spears. I can no-shield one, but I will have to shield the second one if I want to KO the Swollen. So I'm going to go for the second Leaf Blade. It takes one of his shields. I decide at this point that he is low enough where I can farm him down with Charizard, and I can have so much energy on my Charizard for whatever he has in the back. I'm gonna no-shield this Icicle Spear and save 2 shields, and my opponent decides to not let me farm him down. They immediately bring in Drapion, and I'm gonna go for this Blast Burn. They go ahead and shield the first Blast Burn. Now, I am gonna have to shield this Crunch, and unfortunately we get a defense drop. I go ahead and I catch the next Crunch on our Galarian Moltres. Now, as cool as that looked, this was a mistake. This actually might have cost us the game because the Drapion is still very, very healthy. They have Sludge Bomb, and we have nothing that will hit for a lot of damage on this Drapion. All we have is Ancient Power, and that's basically all we can throw. My opponent also makes a very impressive catch on the Ancient Power on their Walrein, and they save their Drapion. Unfortunately, they are going to be able to take out our Galarian Moltres with this Crunch, and now I have to throw all my energy on this Drapion so that he doesn't get to another move. Also, Charizard is very weak right now. This should have been an easy win for us. They have a Poliwrath in the back. I have 2 Flyers in the back. We should have taken this win very easily, but unfortunately we get countered down. Like I said, I made an unnecessary catch, and that cost me the game. But moving on to the final match of the set, this is just hard counter city for my opponent. Unfortunately, I guess the algorithm was feeling very sorry for me after going on that lose streak, and they were like, okay, here you go, you get one of these hard counter games as well. So we did lead Verzian into their Steelix, and then my opponent safe swapped Golisopod, and we have Moltres on their Golisopod, of course. And guess what? Moltres can take 2 liquidations comfortably from Golisopod. That is how bulky this thing is. Like, I was actually pretty impressed with it, as long as you don't get the defense drop, of course. Now my opponent is going to go ahead and bring back in their Steelix, and we can throw a payback on Steelix, which, you know, did okay damage, but you know, it's Steelix. It's not going to take that much damage from anything. I am going to go ahead and bring my Verzian back in, and they have Verzian in the back, and I can bring in Charizard, and my opponent is going to top left here. I'm so sorry to my opponent that you got that hard countered in that game, but I had been being hard countered the entire night, so I kind of deserved one of those. But that was 4 wins in that set, and I'm actually pretty happy with that. Can I recommend Moltres? I don't know. Honestly, it is decent. It just needs maybe a better moveset. Maybe it needs a faster charged move that it can reach that isn't Ancient Power. And also, it's a little bit difficult to build a balanced team around. Again, I struggled with that. Maybe you guys will find more luck with it. I do have another battle here that is from another set that I played that I'd like to share with you guys. This was from one of the sets where I was trying out Registeel with Moltres because I thought Registeel would work really well with Moltres, but I kept running into Alolan Sandslash, and that was just walling my entire team because I was running an entire team that was weak to Alolan Sandslash, unfortunately. So we did have a tricky lead into Dragonite, but they did CMP tie with us on the charge move, so I was able to take one of their shields. They took one of our shields as well because I don't want to take a superpower on my Registeel. Then my opponent save swaps a Greedent, and Greedent is not great into Registeel. It does win in some scenarios, however, I am going to be able to land Focus Blasts on this Greedent and take out most of its health. And now what I'm going to do is, because I have weakened it, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Galarian Moltres. I'm going to farm up as much energy as I can before taking it out with this Ancient Power. That way I have energy for Dragonite, and this Ancient Power is absolutely going to hurt this Dragonite, and it lands and we take out most of its health, and now it is in a range where we can farm it down with our Giratina. I'm not going to bring in Registeel in case it can reach a superpower, so I bring in Giratina. My opponent immediately swaps into Tapu Fini, and Giratina with Shadow Claw can easily beat Tapu Fini as long as the Moonblast doesn't land. So GG's to my opponent. That was one more win I wanted to show you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like my videos, please consider subscribing and maybe leaving a like on the video. It helps me out a ton, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!